Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are diving into something that's becoming increasingly important for Windows developers and IT professionals, and that is the WinGet manifest. If you ever wanted to publish your application to the Windows Package Manager, this is the key piece of the puzzle. And stick around because at the end I will share you how Advanced Installer has made this process way easier with a brand new feature. So first of all, let's understand what the WinGet manifest is. So this is basically a YAML file that describes your application to the Windows Package Manager. And it contains metadata like application name, publisher version, what type of installer you are using, if it's an MSI, an EXE, an MSIX, and so forth and so on. You also need to specify the download URL and the hash, and also some optional details like license description and icons. And you can think of this manifest file like a recipe that tells WinGet exactly how to install and manage your application to the people who are requesting it. Of course, there are some other tools out there that you can use to create these manifest files, and you can also hand read them if you want, of course. But Microsoft also provides some tools like WinGet Create or YAML Create PowerShell script, and both of them are accessible from Microsoft. However, these add more complexity to the whole package situation, right? Because after you created your package, you then need to go through these tools to create the manifest and then go through the publishing scenario. So what Advanced Installer tries to do is to minimize that workload and make it much easier for all the developers or IT professionals if you have a private repository. In general, the submission for the WinGet packages works something like this. Once you have your manifest done, you can go to the official repository for the WinGet, and this is the repository itself. Then you will need to fork it, right? So for example, you click on fork. Of course, I already have a fork done here. After you have done your fork, all you need to do is add your manifest to the new branch, and there are some rules that you need to respect. So for example, if we go into the manifests folder, you can see we have lots of letters and numbers, right? If we check a little bit the GitHub documentation on this one, on how to submit a manifest, once we have done the manifest, we need to submit a pull request, right? And then we need to put our new manifest to the folder structure, right? So we go into the manifest folder, then the first lowercase letter of the publisher. So for example, if we have an application done by Caffeon, the first letter will be C. So if we go to C, we can see here lots of people, lots of companies which publish their own manifests and applications inside WinGet, right? And also we have here, for example, Caffeine, because we also have our software published, right? Next, we need to add the publisher itself, which was Caffeine, right? The package, and in this case, we have Advanced Installer and Hover, and the version itself. So for example, inside Advanced Installer, we have lots of versions which are uploaded here. And let's say you do the version as said, and then you just put in the new manifest which was done with Advanced Installer, right? Then after everything is done, you go back to this one and just do a pull request, and you just do a new pull request. And of course, there's nothing to compare because I didn't change anything. And if everything passes, maintainers will approve and merge your pull request, and then your application will be basically live in the official Windows Package Manager repository, and it will be available to the millions of users which are out there. And that's the theory. So now let me show you how I've been using this in practice. So Advanced Installer just released a new functionality that makes creating WinGet manifests almost effortless. And instead of juggling YAML files and scripts, you can simply just generate everything directly inside the Advanced Installer. So for example, I have a very simple installer here, just have some files, some registry, some shortcuts, that's pretty much it. And all you need to do is just go to the builds page. And here, I already clicked it, but for example, you have the new WinGet tab. You can just click generate a WinGet manifest. And here you add, as previously mentioned, all the necessary details that you want for your application. For example, what will be your package identifier, your package version, what language does your application use, what type of license, and most importantly, maybe is this part here on the installer manifest. Now, of course, this is automatically populated based on your build in Advanced Installer. In this case, we have an MSI build, so the installer type will be MSI. You can also have MSI, MSIX, Apex, or EXE, depending on the build that you have. Then you need to be very specific with the URL, because the installer URL is the direct download link to your application installer, and this URL must point to a location that is publicly accessible or accessible within your organization if you are using a private repository. Because keep in mind, when a user runs the WinGet install package command, right? WinGet does not download the installer from Microsoft servers. Instead, WinGet reads this manifest that you provide, sees the installer URL, and then tells to the client itself, hey, please go and download that installer directly from this location here, right? So be very specific with the URL. And of course, the language, what architecture you are going to use. This is linked again to your package build. You can also change it, your product code. And of course, you can configure your installer switches. Now for MSI, it's quite easy because it's self-populated within the advanced installer, right? It's an MSI, of course, silently you'll want something quiet, or if you want something with progress, what's the install location of the application, and if you want to do any type of logging. After that, when you click on the build, everything will be done. Of course, I need to save my project here, no worries. I can put it as test WinGet. And then the WinGet manifest will get generated. Now, if we go here into the target folder, look, you have your manifest file. Of course, it also has the full path as GitHub requires us. So for example, we have the start letter of the company. In this case, it's your company, right? I didn't change it. Then you have the full publisher name, then the application name, and then the version, as you can see here. And here are all the manifest files that you need to upload and create a pull request inside GitHub. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into Windows packaging and automation. And let me know in the comments, have you tried publishing any type of applications with WinGet yet? Thank you very much. See you.